Good day, everybody. We are locked and loaded and ready to bring you this latest edition of Grilling the Birds. It is brought to you by Inside the Birds with that man in a light green hoodie, Trey Thomas.
Yeah, this is my Kelly Green, man. Get
There
my
you
Eagles
go.
fly on. There we go.
Get that Kelly Green going. I'm Derek Gunn and Trey. You know, we tape this show every Wednesday, so we're now 4 days removed from that debacle up in the Meadowlands, but it's still sticking in my craw. And a lot of people around the Philadelphia region, man, right now, everybody in the Philadelphia region who's an Eagles fan, they want to fire everybody. Start at the top. They want to fire Howie Roseman. They want to fire Doug Pederson. They want to fire they even want to get rid of the quarterback, man. Give me overall, before we dig into this, your general perspective of where this team is right now.
You know what? Right now, it just doesn't seem like this team is up to par. I mean, when you come out of the bye week and just the energy level that these guys played with coming out of the bye week, I expected for these guys to come out there on fire, knowing that you just played a team a couple weeks ago that you barely got out of with a 1-point win. And then now all of a sudden you come out of here and you just feel like, all right, hey, this is going to be, just chalk this up as another W for us. All we got to do is show up. And I mean, it just showed itself all throughout the game. I mean, I'm going to pull up some clips and show you a couple things real quick, just on the effort level. One thing that I always talk about guys with is when you look at special teams at times, the special teams is more of an energy, high attitude type position. And you could tell at times when you look at field goal block, just how our guys were kind of like, all right, you scored, we'll give you that extra point. But then you look at New York on the other end, they were actually trying to get after the kicker, even though it's an extremely hard thing to do to block a kick. But you just saw the effort level on their end and on our end. It's just like, all right, you scored. Okay, all right. And it was just kept showing itself throughout our game.
This is an Eagles team that faced a Giants team that was at the bottom statistically in a lot of categories offensively, middle of the road team defensively. Eagles scored 17 points against a Giants team they had should have ran up and down the field on. They did in a lot of ways, 156 yards rushing on 23 carries. I thought they could have run the ball a little bit more. Eagles were averaging almost 7 yards a carry. They could have run the ball more and controlled the clock even more so, yet they only get 17 points out of that. They get a touchdown from Corey Clement in the third quarter, and instead of going for the extra point, he decides to go for 2. That blew up, and now you're down 4 instead of 3 and possibly moving in position to get a tying field goal. Now, on Monday, Doug Pederson, after he's had time to in-depthly look at the film and assess the situation, was asked about his offensive play calling. And here's what the head coach had to say about his play calling.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about the plays have been called. I even looked at the game yesterday and felt I was in rhythm and I've always looked at the game through the eyes of the quarterback and how he views it and how he sees it. And I think it's important that quarterback and play caller are on the same page that way. And Carson and I have those conversations during the week and day before the game and go through a lot of different scenarios and we're prepared that way and look, not every game is going to be perfect.
All right, Trey, you heard what Doug said. He said he thought his play calling was in rhythm. He felt fine with his play calling. You being a former NFL player, was his play calling in rhythm? Was his play calling fine?
Well, it's kind of like that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You know what I'm saying? He felt like, hey, it was in rhythm. I had my runs, I had my passes going. I thought that when I went back and I looked at the film, I thought New York did a really good job of covering our routes, because there was nothing that we didn't really do a lot of creating opening routes for our receivers or whatever.
Right.
So maybe Doug felt like it was in rhythm. It's just New York did a better job of defending his in rhythm play calling. I mean, when you look at the other side of the ball and just how Coach Garrett was just out there out scheming our defense, coming with all these different creative plays, even a shuffle pass or just different stuff to keep our defense off balance, we did not do the same with our offensive attack. We felt like, all right, hey, we're just going to show up. I'm going to call some plays, and our guys should be able to execute. We went back to the well one too many times on a couple plays where we tried to come that deep pass down the left side of the field to Fulgham. They knew that was coming. It was well defended. We tried to come with the deep route to Reagor right up the middle of the field. They knew that was coming. It was well defended and double covered. So, I mean, you know, there were just too many times where New York just did an awesome job of just picking Doug's well-rhythmed offense off.
Are you surprised that this offense hasn't been able to stretch the field? I mean, they've been successful on the intermediate throws, over the middle throws, but nobody's really stretching the field for this offense.
Well, you know, you got to put your guys in position, and I think also you have to catch them off guard every now and then. Not where you see like the defender is like, oh yeah, I know this is coming right here, so let me make sure I run this receiver out of bounds and make sure that he can't get a step on me so that you can't make this deep throw. You had the one play where it was 4th and 10 where you had Reagor streaking up the right side of the field, but Carson Wentz, instead of trying to lead him and allowing him to go get the ball, he tried to give him a back shoulder throw. So I just feel like, you know, some of the decision-making at times was a little off, but as well, you know, it's always kind of like, oh, I know this is coming, so we'll make sure we take care of it and defend it.
You know, you brought up a good point a few moments ago about the lack of creativity in this offense, but every opponent they've played, win, lose, or draw, has some kind of creativity in their offense, whether it's the jet sweeps, the reverse plays, misdirection, fake one way, roll back, throw a screen the other way, whatever the case may be. And then I'm watching other games, you know, that this area gets to see throughout the course of a day. You watch the highlight shows on NFL Network later at night, and everybody's doing something creative with their offense, man.
Yeah.
Now, we had this creativity in this offense just a couple of years ago. And I know people are going to say, oh, Frank Reich isn't here anymore. John DeFilippo isn't here anymore. But we saw some of this stuff in 2018 and 2019. Why has it been absent in 2020?
Well, you know what? We tried to come back to the Philly again. You know, that was blown up a couple weeks ago. I can't remember what team it was against, but it didn't go anywhere. I mean, we were trying to do a reverse throwback to Carson, and we had it was some mess. I mean, and Ward ended up getting hit in the backfield or something. He had to end up scrambling upfield, whatever. It was well defended. They knew it was coming. But we haven't, you know, we had the one little hitch where it was 4th and 1, where we kind of ran Reagor underneath. That was a nice little wrinkle, a little change-up play. But other than that, there's nothing that's making the defense feel like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I didn't think that was going to be what they were coming with. It was just, you know, you kind of catch guys out of position. But there aren't any, you know, when you have 14 offensive coaches, you should be seeing a little bit more. You know, just a little bit more creativity. Or if you're not going to come with the creativity, well, you should make sure that the regular stuff that you're doing is tight, where you're making sure that you're getting your combination blocks, making sure that you're getting separation on your routes, or you're running these little rub routes or whatever to get receivers open so that you can kind of help your offense out. Do the regular things good, and then you don't have to worry about the trick plays.
I don't understand how you are a well-rested team. You're coming out of a bye. As you just alluded to earlier, you escaped by the hair of your chinny chin chins just a few weeks ago against a Giants team in your backyard. Mm-hmm. You know they're laying in the weeds and they're waiting for you. And you hit the field, and right out of the gate, you know, the first play, pretty good. Eagles get a sack. Mm-hmm. After that, it's all downhill. You look up at the scoreboard, all of a sudden they're trailing 14-3 to the Giants. Yeah. You know what's at stake. First place is on the line. How do you come out in a game of this magnitude, especially a divisional game, with no intensity, no sense of urgency?
That's a big problem. And Doug say, hey, you know what? I put that on me. Well, yeah, that has to be on you, because as a coach, you're the one that has to make sure that you get your guys up to speed. You have to make sure that they have that right mindset and that attitude going into the game. They need to understand how important this game is. But you can see all throughout this game just how everybody kind of was just like, all right, hey, you know what? Go ahead and run me off the ball. And I think it starts with you come out of the bye week, and then you start giving out rest days. I mean, you just came out of the bye week, and you give out a rest day. what kind of message does that send to your team? You know, I know that you got guys that are vets and whatever else, but I mean, come on, man. You just came off a bye week. Why do you need a rest day coming off a bye week? You just had 3-4 days off. So why not have to set the tempo? And I think that's what kind of affects this team. You have some of your leaders that just aren't giving you everything you got. I just sat down and I'm going over all of these clips right now to get ready to put my trench talk film together. And I'm highlighting Jalen Mills a lot. I think I've gotten through the first half so far. He hadn't hit the ground now one time. You know how hard it is for a defender to not hit the ground?
I don't know what to say. You
don't hit the ground. You didn't. You weren't in on a tackle. You did not hit the ground. And then when you come back and you look at Daniel Jones, and Schwartz was upset about, okay, hey, they came back in and ran the same formation and it hit us again. Well, they ran it at Jalen Mills. He's sitting down in there and he's like, all right, hey, I'm backpedaling Green Goblin style. And, you know, you don't do what a safety is supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? You come in and see, here's my problem. I played with one of the best safeties to ever play the game. And so it's hard for me to look at another safety and be like, hey man, you know, I played with the best. So I need you to have a little bit of some of that. And to me, I just don't feel like that. Like you see the tight end coming at you to block you. Why do you not, if you're not going to take him on, if you're not going to come in there to crush him, then at least cut him and create a pile. Don't sit up there and try to olay him, and then you make the hole even bigger, and then Daniel Jones running by. You're not fast enough to swim past the receiver that's blocking you, and then try to keep Daniel Jones from behind. That's not happening. Both the times that Daniel Jones ran those touchdowns, the one that was called back, they ran it to Jay Mills' side again. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, and then you do an interview at the end of the game. Hey, we pissed off. You know what? We upset. You send a tweet out. Oh, we're going to have to kick it up a notch. I'm thinking probably 11 notches. Because, I mean, you know, if that's what you say, you got to kick it up a notch. Man, listen, I need you to kick it up probably by 10 more notches, man. Because that right there, no. Because as a sake, I just feel like, and I don't, you know, it ain't all J Mill, it ain't all about the Green Goblin. But when I go and I look at this film and he was like, hey man, we pissed off. We got to play better. You know, we all angry. I couldn't tell by the way you played. And I'm talking about even when you look at some of these special team clips where he's sitting out there trying to jump and get the kicker's attention, but you're not trying to get after the kick. You're not rushing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, look, man, come on, man. You need your leaders on this group to stand up. And I mean, you know, and then it starts trickling down to some of the younger guys. And then now you're going to create a huge problem because now it's too late to change. Doug cannot come in there with the iron fist now and try to lay down the law. The precedent has been set. So this is it. You're going to have to just either your guys that you're depending on need to step up and police themselves and hold each other accountable, or you may as well just go ahead and finish up the season because I guarantee you lose one or two more, you're going to start seeing big-name guys that are supposed to be leaders on this team start like, all right, hey, you know what? Ouch, ouchie, you know, ouchie. Ooh, that hurt. Ooh, that hurt. I can't. I'm done. Just, you know, just because they don't want to get that, you know. But, all right, I'm sorry. I went on a little tangent there.
Yeah, yes, you did. That's all right. But, you know, it's funny because, and you've been in this situation having played for this Philadelphia organization when things are going bad. Many of us, multitudes on the outside looking in from media and fans alike, want to dissect the little things even more so than before. And, of course, Doug Pederson, and each and every week you see him getting a little bit more annoyed with questions from the media. He is starting to wear his emotions on his sleeve a lot more. He used to be in control of that stuff. Now he's starting to get a little agitated by lines of questioning. Is Doug doing himself any favors by showing open emotion, or should he do a better control of controlling that emotion?
I think I think he's forcing that emotion in the wrong direction.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, you want to put all that on the media. Where's all that going to your players? You know, where that frustration and anger and all of that should be going to some of the players too, because they're the ones that's letting you down. I think that, you know, and I think Doug, I really think, and I played with Doug, and I really want to see Doug be successful. And man, and I would, you know, if he said it, I would jump out there in a heartbeat to help him. But, you know, I just feel like, man, you know, you got to hold these guys accountable. You can't, you're not their friends. You have to hold them accountable, and it should have been done from jump. And if it wasn't done from jump, the bye week was the time to get their attention. But instead, you had a little walkthrough, all right, you know, and then now you're upset because they let you down. And so now you get testy with the media, and I get it, you know, you're upset, you're angry. But, man, you know, sometimes you got to check cats, even if they're vets. Even if they're vets, you got to check them.
Andy Reid had no problem with that.
Had no problem with it. Now, he's not going to throw anybody under the bus in front of the media, but please believe that, hey, if we messed up, if something was going on, hey, I need to talk to you. Come here, big fella. I need to talk to you. There wasn't any being late to meetings. There wasn't any, hey, you know what, hey, arrest. Man, I was 11 years in the league and never had a rest day in practice.
Yeah.
11 years in the league and never missed a game. Rarely missed games. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it played every snap in every game. So there was no coming out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, what is this? I don't get it. But and maybe this is the new NFL, and I don't want to be that old head. They're like, oh man, you know what? We played out there in the field of Sanders Spurs, and it was always minus 50 degrees, and you know, we had no gloves. It's still football, man. And you got to, you know, to me, I just feel like you got to check your vets sometimes, because those are the ones that are causing the problem.
See, you said, you know, Doug Pederson is kind of like Andy Reid. He doesn't call players out in public, but when you listen to his Monday press conference where he says, I thought my play calling was fine. My play calling was in rhythm. Isn't that an indirect way of calling out players?
Yes, it is.
Putting the onus on players, not himself?
Yeah, it's definitely saying like, hey, I did my part. You know what I'm saying? I called plays that was in rhythm. I was feeling it. I was feeling groovy. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in my zone. But yeah, they didn't execute. So like that can't sit well with your players. You know, so it's kind of like a thing that keeps going back and forth where there's just this battle that's going on this team. And it's like everybody needs to get on the same page and everybody needs to hold each other accountable. But that's what happens when you start letting things slide from the beginning. Because then you're like, well, hey, man, I did my part. And then the player's going to be like, well, hey, you know what? If you put us in a better position, we will be winning. And then now you start having this going on. It's all haywire now. Everybody, cats are running around with the dogs. It's crazy right now. It's pandemonium.
See, I heard you say something also a few minutes ago. You said you thought it was too far gone to reel this team in. And here's the way I perceive it. You still have 7 games left. You are still at the head of the class. Now, we all agree, more than likely, of these next 5 games, they're going to lose at least 3 of them. And as strange as it sounds, could still be in control of the NFC East. Mm-hmm. But you said that there's a possibility if they lose a couple, you're going to see guys with these phantom injuries and stuff. First of all, you're a highly paid 6-figure, 7-figure professional athlete. I don't care if you over the season. You fight tooth and nail until the bitter end. So now you got me thinking, now I'm going to start watching for little nuances where players start coming up with phantom injuries, my man.
Yeah, start watching. Because watch. If they lose a couple more of these games, start watching who gonna start. Like, that hurt right there. Yo,
You have some names. You have some names for us?
No, I ain't got no names. I do not name. They will produce themselves. They will produce themselves. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it because, man, you know, you've already, and it's not. You know what? Is it too late to reel in? I think it's going to be to your vets that's going to have to reel this in. If Doug comes in there right now and slam his fist on the ground on the table, and we need to do this and this, it'll fizzle out real quick because your guys are going to see through that. You need your vets to come in and check all of that, and they need to hold each other accountable.
See, I agree with you, but when I look at the collection of vets they have, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Carson Wentz, Jason Kelsey, quality players, quality leaders. But do you think the whole conglomerate of players will listen to any one of them, or they just say, you know what? Yeah, okay, I hear you. All right, let's get this over with.
I think Fletcher Cox is a leader. I think he's a dominant player. But when you get an off day after a bye week, that creates something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That creates something. Now, I think I would want more out of Fletcher Cox because he can be, when I sit down and I watch the film of Fletcher Cox, when he wants to turn it on, no one can block him. No one can block him. But then you can see times when he starts like, it's not as, what it should be, then, you start seeing guys blowing him off the ball. It's not as aggressive as it should be. But, man, when he wants to turn it on, hands down, one of the best in the game. But, man, it's just too many. Because and a lot of people try to compare him to Aaron Donald. The difference between he and Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald never has that off switch.
No.
He never has that off switch. You always see him affecting the game no matter what. Double team, triple team, zone, whatever. However you want to bring it to him, he's going to affect the game. And that's just me being honest and real with you. I love Fletcher Cox as a player, but there are just too many times where I just don't see him being the Fletcher Cox that this team needs him to be. He's a leader on this group. It can't always fall on BG. Slay is not, this is only his first year here. He's not going to be your guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Jalen Mills, he talk a lot, but you know what? You didn't hit the ground. You didn't hit the ground. Too many times I see you avoiding contact instead of being the safety that coming. As a safety, you have to be air traffic control. I am coming to take whatever head off that's in there. If I see opposite color, I'm knocking it out. That's just how I see safety play.
I look at the set of two locker rooms, and we talk about what the Eagles are lacking in terms of mentally as well as physically being prepared for a 60-minute war. And you look at the team they faced in the Giants. Now, here's a team that was at the bottom of the division. Their 5 previous games leading up to this matchup with the Eagles were all decided by 3 points or less. And the frustration is they had only won one of those 5 games. So if there was a team that ever could have called it a day before kickoff, it was the Giants. Plus, you couple that with the fact we've heard stories about Joe Judge forcing his guys to run laps when they make mistakes. A couple of weeks ago,
holding everybody accountable.
He benched Golden Tate because Golden Tate was talking only about getting the ball more, and Golden Tate came out last week as a leader and said to his team, I apologize for making it about me. It won't happen again. They turn around and put a beat down on the Eagles. The mindset of how Joe Judge is affecting a struggling team that's frustrated compared to Doug Pederson affecting a struggling team, it's like night and day difference.
Exactly. But Joe Judge, this is his first year there. He could come in there and set the precedent right at the gate. And he held everybody accountable right at the gate. And to the point where you're getting a vet, you're like, look, you're running your mouth a little too much. I don't like it. I'm benching you. Yeah. That sets the tone. And it makes everybody else, all the young cats that's sitting around there like, hey, you know what? Hey, all right, you know what? Hey, we need to tighten up and fly right. Because if not, this is going to happen to us. And he goes into this game knowing like, well, hey, man, he had his team believing, look, man, all you got to do is go out there and don't turn the ball over. We only lost this game by 1 point. We can beat this team. And you could tell like that team believed it. And they knew that they can do it. And they weren't scared of the Eagles coming in there because they knew, hey, man, if we punch them in the mouth, we can make them fold. And that's exactly what they did.
After the game, I tweeted out, I said, after watching this, I believe the Giants right now are the best team in the NFC East. Yeah. And I can tell you how many comments flooded my Twitter account with agreeing with me that the Giants right now are the best team in the NFC East. Matter of fact, they have the best divisional record at 3-2 right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think that New York right now, the way they're playing, and they're playing with some energy, they playing with some thump. They could possibly be the best team in the NFC East right now because, I mean, Dallas is in shambles. They trying to figure out what they're going to do with their quarterback. I mean, you know, you got Washington down there. They're still trying to figure things out. You got Alex Smith. Good to have him back, which is absolutely amazing with everything that he's got. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you have a team like us where we're just trying to – we have no identity. We have no – what are we? You know, so – yeah, I think that, you know, New York is the best team in the NFC in the conference right now.
You know, the question is flooding the airwaves in recent days. Should Doug Pederson give up play calling? And, okay, it's a valid question, but then the question that you have to couple that with is, but who do you give play calling to?
Yeah.
You're not giving it to Press Taylor. Is Rich Gangarella? Are you going to call Marty Moore again? And play? Who do you give play calling to at this point?
You know what? Who knows? I mean, first of all, that's not happening. You know,
right.
if you're going to take play calling away from Doug, you may as well go ahead and give him his walking papers and let him go, because that Doug has made it very clear that is something that he really enjoys doing. He feels like he's good at it. This is what he's here for. You know, so that's not happening. You know, so I don't know. Everybody may as well get that on out of their mind. You know, that's just not going to happen because, I mean, I don't even see Marty on the sidelines or in the booth. They never show him, so I don't know where he is during the games. You know, I can't see them saying, all right, press Taylor. I don't see them pushing Deuce out there to do it. So
he's never done it, so you can't give it to Deuce.
No, so you better not give it to Press Taylor because he's never done it either. I mean, you know, you'll start oh my gosh. So, you know, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I think that you have too many voices in one room, you know, where you have, you know, and it's like everybody's saying different things, but now everybody isn't on the same page.
Finally, they activate Alshon Jeffrey, and this is perplexing to me. You deactivated your second-round draft pick in J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Okay, so I'm thinking Alshon is not going to take reps away from Travis Fulgham or Jalen Reagor, but there's enough passes on the field for everybody. Alshon played 10 snaps, had one pass thrown his way, which was incomplete.
Yeah.
Why activate him? Why even activate him if that's all you're going to do for him? Why?
Yeah. You know, and in the run route that he threw to him, it was what down was it? I think it was a 1st and 10 or something like that, a 2nd and 10. And, you know, you try to go to Alshon, and he was going across the middle. And it was a high ball, but I'm like, first of all, Carson, man, you got to put that ball on Alshon. You know he's just coming off injury. Yeah. You know he's not going to extend himself too much because Alshon went after that ball where he tried to put his arm up, but he made sure that elbow was tight to the ribs. So he was kind of like, he was right there with it, and he was like, it was too high. You know,
You trying to say alligator arm? Is that what you're saying?
It was too high, you know, because he was like, he only let them fingertips extend about right there. Because he wanted to protect them ribs because that ball sailed on him a little bit. And Alshon was running, and he was like, because no, I'm not. I'm fresh off of injury. I'm not going to take this hit. I'm sorry. You know, maybe we come back to me on another route, you know, because that one wasn't it, you know, so.
With all this bad news, there was a bit of good news from the offense, though.
What's that?
Carson Wentz. He didn't turn the ball over.
No turnovers. Look at that.
I mean, you know, he was only 21 of 37, but he didn't turn the ball over.
No turnovers, even though you had some bad snaps coming back there. Kelsey was back there firing them low rockets at him, you know, so he didn't have any turnovers. We get good. No turnovers. Yeah. That's something to build on. You know, so when we're looking for blocks to build on,
right,
that's one right there. No turnover game.
All right, we're going to talk more about Jason Kelsey's missed snaps. We're going to talk about more about Jim Schwartz as well. But right now, we're going to step aside for this promo because Week number 10 of the NFL season is in the books, and now it's time to review the tape and get ready for week number 11. There is no better place to get in on all the action than with the Draftkings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Now, to add to the excitement of week number 11, DraftKings Sportsbook is bringing back their can't-miss offer. Now, if you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbooks yet, head to the App Store right now because you don't want to miss it. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new users the chance to sign up a bonus of up to $1,000 when signing up using promo code ITB. Now, DraftKings Sportsbook has endless ways for you to bet, from live betting to betting on your favorite players. They do it all. Now, one of the games that I'm really looking forward to watching this week is that Thursday night matchup, Arizona at Seattle. There's a three-way tie in the NFC West. Of course, earlier in the season, Arizona beat Seattle in Arizona 37-34. This time around, even though Seattle's coming off a hard-fought loss to the Rams, Seattle's favored at home by 3 points on Thursday night. So keep your eye on that particular game. Now, don't worry if football isn't for you. DraftKings is giving all MMA fans who sign up now the chance to triple their winnings for any bet placed on UFC 255. DraftKings is safe, reliable, and secure, making it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app right now using promo code ITB when you sign up and get up to $1,000. Once again, that's code ITB to get a deposit bonus of up to $1,000 for a limited time only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, Trey, you were talking about Jason Kelce. Not one, not two, but too many times you recognize the ball when snap wasn't where it's supposed to be.
No, it was just a couple times where, we're going to put a couple clips to it real quick, where Kelce just was, he was just firing him back there, man. And, every now and then, Kelce gets in this rhythm, man, where, he when you get a athletic defensive tackle over Kelce or a big guy over him, sometimes he gets a little rushed in his mechanics and he starts firing them rockets back there, man. And it's hard for a quarterback to deal with. And and I was talking to Jamal Jackson about it, and and he was just talking about how it needs to be like a pendulum, where you need to allow the arm to go back. I mean, that kind of looks a little weird, but you need the arm to go back. So, you know what?
I'm with you, man. No,
it just looked a little weird. It just looked a little weird. But you need the arm to go back, and once the arm hits the thigh, you let the ball go. But if you let the ball go before the arm hits the thigh, then now you have the ball coming in low and it's firing in there. And what the problem is, you're trying to get your offhand back up because your snap hand, you're trying to shoot it back and get that hand back up. And I think that's one of the problems that Kelce was dealing with, especially when he had to get out there and do some of those stretch plays or something like that. He's just such in a rush where he's just trying to shoot it back there, and it makes it extremely difficult for the quarterback. And he has had a history with that happening throughout the years.
Right. Now, I want to go back before we flip over to the defense. I want to go back to something we were talking about a moment ago. With Alshon being activated, Whiteside was deactivated. Now, Whiteside, second-round draft pick. Was he had one catch this season, had 10 catches last year. Mm-hmm. What are you saying about Whiteside when you deactivate him? Now, I know everybody can't suit up, but again, let me emphasize, this man was a second-round draft pick, and now he's being deactivated. Are you sending him a message? Does he need to start looking for work elsewhere?
Yeah. Yes, he should. Yes. Yes, I think so. I think this is going to be it for Whiteside. And I was really pulling for this young man. I really wanted to see him do well. And I want to see all of them do well. But it's just like when everybody gets down on him, I really pull for him. Like, come on, man, you can do it. And it's it's just not working out for him. I don't see him making the plays. He's not creating the separation that we were hoping for. I know that everybody was extremely high on him coming out of training camp, but you got corners that's not really challenging you in training camp that way. So, it looks a little bit better than when you get in game time, it's not there.
Right.
So, it's one catch, one touchdown off the fumble. And, he celebrated instead of getting his man. But, that's a whole other thing. But to me, I hope that he's like some of the other players, that he goes somewhere else and be successful. But I think that this is pretty much it for him here.
Wow. All right. Well, he still has 7 games to try to redeem himself, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No,
All right, let's flip. Yeah, let's flip over to the defense now. And this defense was facing a Giants offense that was averaging 298 yards a game and just over 18 points a game. Against this Eagles defense, they racked up over 380 yards of offense, which is about the average in the NFL for a good day at the office, but 27 points. And no play typified how inconsistent this Eagles defense was than the play we were discussing earlier, Daniel Jones on a 34-yard touchdown run. Now, here's what your defensive coordinator, and I emphasize, Trey, your defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, had to say about that play in particular.
Yeah, you guys, defense broke down on that play. You guys know I don't assign individual blame, but first game it was a little bit of a surprise. They ran out of a formation we hadn't seen before, but it was embarrassing in this game because they ran out of the exact same formation, and we fit it wrong. And the guy that's supposed to be there for the quarterback wasn't there. Nobody else got off any blocks, and he made us pay with a touchdown. The other one that got called back from with a penalty, the hold affected that play, and then also caused us. Well, we had a chance to get him in the backfield, and it was more of a physical play on that one that got called back.
All right, Trey, we just heard what Jim Schwartz said. Now, they ran the play out of the same formation that Daniel Jones sprinted down the field 80 yards on him just several weeks ago, and if the turf monster hadn't tripped him up, he would have taken it to the house. I'm watching this play develop. The first time it was on the right side. This time it was to the left side. And I'm looking at the scene, and you were talking about this earlier on the show. Now that I think about it, I'm watching guys trying to converge on Daniel Jones, giving a half effort. And I thought I was seeing an illusion for a minute. I looked at it again. These dudes weren't giving a maximum effort trying to get to Daniel Jones, man.
No. And it was a little zone read. You got the running back shooting down in there, and defensive ends goes crashing down inside. Like, oh, I'm going to go get this defense. I'm going to get the tackle. Oh, no, the quarterback is running. And then you got Jalen Mills out there just green goblin. He's just out there just doing goblin stuff.
Having a good time.
Just having him a good time, got on all white, feeling fresh, and didn't, he's just kind of out there trying to olay the tight end. And then you got everybody else, they take really bad ankles, thinking that Daniel Jones is not. If you didn't learn anything from last time you played him, that Daniel Jones is a lot faster than what you think. And then now here he is, he cuts right up the field, bam, 30-some yard touchdown. I mean, it was just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? How can you continue to be out of position on the same play? All they did was run it to the opposite side. Now, what I'm going to do now is go back and watch that game, watch that play the first time they ran it for the 80-some yards, and see who was it. Jalen Mills on that side again that they went after? Because I want to see, did they do the same thing again? Because I'm like, well, wait a minute. You know what? I'm about to look this up because you got me. Come on, carry on. I'm going to look this up again because I want to see this. Because I'm sitting there like, man, what happened with this? How did this play continue to just break open like this? And, just absolutely ridiculous. I just felt like the effort wasn't where it needed to be. Guys were not converging where they needed to be. And I felt like, number one, Jalen Mills, man, if you come in there crushing, you need to cut. You need to cut that blocker, create a pile, and then here comes the cavalry.
What happened to this once stout run defense? Giants, not a great running team, had 151 yards rushing. Wayne Gallman and Alfred Morris just chewed this defense up. Now, I understand Daniel Jones, you have to figure him into the equation when you talk about the run game. You don't know. But still, Alfred Morris and Wayne Gallman were chewing up some real estate on this defense now.
Yeah, I know. And that was one of the major things is that, okay, to me, it just looked like they weren't as disciplined with their gaps. And when you look at the defensive play, it's all about filling your gaps and filling your lanes. And you just saw too many times where guys would get washed down. You expose one of the gaps, and those running backs were taking advantage of it and hitting up in there. You know, I still think we're still trying to get some better linebacker play as well. But as a defensive front, you got to make sure that your gap integrity is intact, because if not, that's when running backs or better run blocking teams will pick you apart. And I just felt like going into this game that New York was just like our offensive line, had some major pieces missing with injury, so that this was our time for our defensive front that we pay all this money to show up and show out. But that just wasn't the case.
All right, we have now reached Trey's favorite portion of the show. He has a promo to do for Manscaped.
Yeah, do you feel that?
What?
I mean, do you feel that?
It's
autumn. I'm talking autumn. Autumn is in the air.
Hey, I was worried for a minute.
Yeah, autumn is in the air, and Manscaped is here to ensure you don't carve your pumpkins while grooming. By pumpkins, we actually mean your boys downstairs. In fact, Manscaped is on a mission to change the way you approach caring for your undercarriage. And great news, they just released their products in the UK, Canada, and the great down under, Australia. You can't forget about the best trimmer for your BBB, butt, balls, and body. The Lawnmower 3.0. The Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer offers a replaceable ceramic blade with advanced skin-safe technology, which helps reduce grooming accidents. Their new Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer uses the same skin-safe technology when you're trimming those delicate nose hairs of yours. The crop care kit includes the crop preserver, ball deodorant. Everyone knows that pumpkin spice lattes and ball deodorant go hand in hand. The crop care kit also includes the crop cleanser body wash, a full body wash that you can also use on your hair. Crop mop ball wipes. You never know when an opportunity strikes, so you should always be prepared. Plus, you don't want to stink when you're sitting around that Thanksgiving dinner. If you suffer from the stink foot or stand on your feet all day, then I have a product for you. The Foot Duster Foot Deodorant that's made with cooling tea tree oil that offers a pleasant experience for the stinkest of feet and all allows you to take your shoes off with confidence. The Manscaped Refined Cologne is a cost-effective way to smell clean and fresh for your date. The Crop Cleanser Hair and Body Wash is designed with aloe vera and sea salt to leave your skin clean, fresh, moisturized, and reinvigorated. These formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, and paraben-free. So you know your manhood is in good hands. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the promo code TRAY, T-R-A. Again, that's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com when you use promo code TRAY, T-R-A. Make your balls a priority this fall. They will thank you.
Are you telling me that you actually put deodorant down there after you shaved?
Oh, yeah, man, I got you. Your kit is on the way, man.
Yeah, I just heard. I'm getting one in the mail.
Yeah, your kit is on the way. You're gonna have a nice little ball toner. It's gonna be a nice little deodorant. It's gonna keep you fresh, man. I'm trying to tell you. You're gonna use the shaver. You know, they got the Lawnmower 3.0 with the new LED light. The kit is on the way. It's en route, man. But just make sure you just experience all of it. You know what I'm saying? Just take it all in. You know, just.
I ain't putting no deodorant down. You talking about burning, man? I ain't putting no deodorant down.
It doesn't burn, man. It's all cruelty free. It's all cruelty free. There's no burning because you don't have to worry about any cuts. There are no nicks and cuts because of the skin safe technology from the ceramic blades. You see what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, trust me.
Look, I'm coming after you if I'm running around here trying to find some cold water.
You won't.
To put the fire out.
You won't. It's all good, man. It's cruelty-free, sulfate-free, paraben-free, dye-free. It's vegan.
You don't even know what paraben is.
I had to look it up.
What is it?
It's like little stuff that they put in products that try to keep it fresh. It gives it a longer shelf life. So yeah, it's usually found in makeup products and stuff like that. So in beauty products.
What? You are more informative than I ever have known you to be. I'm impressed by your knowledge.
Yeah.
All right. All right, we got to move on. So we turn the page from the Giants. Now we move on to the next opponent, the Cleveland Browns. And oh, by the way, the 6-3 Cleveland Browns. And when I look at this team, Trey, the first thing that jumps out at me is their running attack. This team is averaging 159 yards a game rushing. And oh, by the way, Nick Chubb, who we hadn't seen since week 4, came back last week. And between Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, arguably the best 1-2 running punch in the National Football League, they each had over 100 yards rushing against Houston's defense. Now, Houston's defense is nothing to write home about, but Houston's defense right now is no worse than the Eagles' defense. So you know Cleveland's going to try to pound the ball at this Eagles' defense.
Absolutely. I mean, they're going to try to test them. They know that we having issues at our linebacker situation. I think some of our linebackers, they're coming around a little bit, but they know what's going on. They see the film, and they know that if we can get our defense to give up their gap integrity, then now they can just pick us apart. And then, you mess around and Baker Mayfield start running these little play actions, and you start sucking your linebackers in a little bit more with the run, and then now they come over the top, and then now, you have a problem. And, I mean, when you look at the other side of the ball, they got a defensive front that can get after it.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness, yes. We're going to get to that in a minute. But when I look at the Baker Mayfield, I'm not a big Baker Mayfield fan because, he's hot one week, cold the next. I hope he's extremely cold this Sunday, but they're playing this one in his backyard. He has 15 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions. But the one stat that jumps out at you about Baker Mayfield, he's only been sacked 12 times in 9 games, which tells me, number one, the running game is working. And even though they don't have Odell Beckham Jr. anymore, he ain't taking no unnecessary sacks. He's doing exactly what our guy doesn't do. He's getting rid of the ball. He's dumping it off. And they got that tight end, Austin Hooper. Here we go. Another tight end problem for the Eagles linebackers.
Yeah, and he's taking what he's given, and and he's getting rid of the ball. Now, going back to the sacks, 12 sacks in 9 games. You know how many times Carson's been sacked so far? 37.
Yep.
He's at he's at 35. He's at 35 right now.
Yeah.
He was sacked 37 times last year. And that was a 16-game season. He was sacked 37 times last year. Right now, he's at 35 sacks. He's been hit 89 times right now. 89 times. He was only hit 100 last year. Now, not only, 100 is a lot, but he was hit 100 last year. Right now, he's at 89 quarterback hits. That's ridiculous.
But I'll tell you something. He's going to get hit again Sunday because Cleveland has this guy named Myles Garrett who has 9.5 sacks. They have Sheldon Richardson. Cleveland's defense is coming after Carson Wentz. I'm telling you that right now. You can take that to the bank. Cleveland's coming after Carson Wentz.
Absolutely. I mean, especially if you have a group that's, that's struggling with protection, they're going to come with, and I don't know. Hopefully this is going to be a game where you get Isaac Seumalo back, and we'll see where he is. But, I expect a lot of games. I expect a lot of, just coming after these guys. Lane Johnson seems like his knee is starting to get a little bit better, and ankle is getting a little bit better. He played a lot stronger in this game. JP's technique is coming around, but this is going to be another a front where you're going to get tested. One of the things that's playing in everybody's advantage right now is that you don't have any crowd noise. So that's a big help right now, because now you can hear everything off the cadence. My only issue is that when they start coming with some of these blitzes, and you saw it a couple of times against New York, where they're not consistent. Our offensive line is not consistent with some of the protection rules, which confuses the back, which creates a lot of these hits that's happening.
All right. One of the key matchups I can't wait to see is Jarvis Landry and Darius Slay. Obviously Cleveland's passing attack is hampered by the loss of Odell Beckham, but that should be a good, fun matchup to watch.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that because, man, Slay is everything that he presented himself to be. He is absolutely a shutdown corner. I mean, now you see him, he got beat a couple of times on Sunday, but, I mean, you know what? That's going to happen at times. That's going to happen when you got two of the best players out there battling. He's going to get a little bit, and he's going to get a little bit. But, I mean, I have not seen him budge, and not give up anything big over the top, any touchdowns thrown on him. He is exactly what was advertised.
All right, brings us to the moment of truth, our prediction time. And I'm going to let you go first, man. Who do you see winning this game? And don't give me no vague answer. I want to score.
I think Cleveland's going to win this game.
Okay.
I think Cleveland's going to win this game. What? I'm gonna go 21. Let's see, 21-13. You know,
hey, now you know Cleveland can put up some points now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the 21-13. That last game, they only won 10 to what? They won 10-7 or something like that.
10-7 over Houston. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, if you're only putting up 10 against Houston's defense, I give them 21 points. But I don't see us winning this game, though. I don't.
Now, Cleveland's offense is averaging just under 25 points a game. The defense is giving up about 27 points a game. Does that change your opinion in any way?
How many times have we scored in the 20s this season so far?
I hear you. I hear you. Okay.
We just trying to get out of the teens, man. We're trying to get legal. We're trying to
get legal.
we're trying to get legal. Talk about 20s and 30s, man. Come on, man.
All right. So you're gonna stick with 21-13.
Yeah, I'm going 21-13.
All right. I'm gonna take it up a little notch. I'm gonna say Cleveland will score at least. If the Giants score 27, Cleveland can score at least 27. So I'm gonna say Cleveland 27, Eagles 14. I'm gonna give them 14. You give them 13, I'll give them 14.
All right, hey, sounds like a plan to me.
All right. So we're in the unison there. So that brings us to the conclusion of another edition of Grilling the Birds, brought to you by Inside the Birds. And oh, by the way, you can see Grilling the Birds on the Inside the Birds podcast and their YouTube platform as well. So with that said, keep your fingers crossed, because to be honest with you, Trey, I don't know when I'm going to pick the Eagles to win another game again, especially over these next 5 weeks, unless they shock us and shock the world and somehow pull off some of these games they're expected to lose over the next several weeks. But I can't legitimately pick them from what I've seen right now.
No, I can't. And I'm about to go back through this New York game because I want to see where Daniel Jones ran that which side he ran that 80-yard touchdown. I just want to see it. I want to see it.
All right. So for Crazy Man and this Kelly Green hoodie, Trey Thomas, I'm Doug. Thanks for hanging out with us. So long, everybody. See, I'm wearing my Star Wars. So long, everybody. Have a blessed day.
All right, cool.